observe all those things, and they are not it's not yielding a positive result using the union there this Apart from that, we have what we see as refusal to implement structural components on the approved roadmap of the Federal Ministry of Education, as it has setting up a dedicated commission for the sector. The Polytechnic as it is, we have considered that the MDTE has a lot of schools to handle. And as such, there should be a dedicated commission, like National Polytechnic Commission or whichever name it will come in, that will be dedicated for the polytechnics in the country, just like the universities and the colleges of education have. But the way forward to this, we cannot tell. Apart from that, we have a government on renegotiation of the ASUP to federal government 2010 agreement. We are expecting that the government should call us back to table. 2010 to now is 15 years. Things have changed, and we expect that there should be a renegotiation.
Was that negotiation in 2010 implemented?
There are things in it that were not implemented, but I will reserve commenting on how the implementation has gone. What we want is, let's renegotiate. The issue of the things that were not implemented can be sorted out even renegotiation is done.
I also understand that amongst many demands, you've also had in the past issue of financial and welfare demands, payment of peculiar academic allowance, payment of arrears, non-implementation of new minimum wage, payment of promotion arrears. Are these also part of your current demands?
I'm not done with the things I was listing.
Okay, go on.
I don't have to wait for you.
Go on.
Some of those things are coming up.
Okay.
The next one we have in our list is refusal to domesticate relevant portion of the Federal Polytechnics. The Federal Polytechnics Act by state-owned institutions. You can see that this one concerns the states. Well, even in River State here, this concerns us. That we are running a polytechnic system that is being regulated by one body, the National Board for Technical Education in the meantime. But we have different laws. Some state polytechnics have different laws from what is obtainable at the federal. And this seems to bring some kind of differences in the administration of the polytechnic system. For instance, in River State here, we have a different law that regulates the Kenpoly Polytechnic as different from other polytechnics in the state as well. And these laws have some differences from what is obtainable at the national. The union from the national and that in the state is saying that the state have to look at what is the federal law and domesticate what we have in the federal law so that we can have some form of unison in the running of the polytechnics in the system. Then we also have stalled discussion on the release of Counties 15 arrears. This is where arrears come from. Some years ago, way back in 2011, they implemented what we call the Counties 15 for those who were at lower cadre at that time. When the implementation started, arrears was to follow. But till now, that is still lingering. That arrears have not been paid. Kenpoly is also involved in these arrears. Our arrears have not been paid. We are still expecting that government will do something about it. They have not done. It is the same thing in other federal schools and other state polytechnics. So we have to come together and put this as a point for which government should attend to us. Apart from that, there are so many other things which affect the federal school mostly that I wouldn't want to mention much. But I mentioned these ones because they affect both the federal and the state government.
What of the issue of infrastructure in polytechnics?
The issue of infrastructure in polytechnics, that one is what we have intervention regularly from the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, and as long as the Polytechnic works with them, there is always intervention from them.
Okay.
I can tell you that there are so many structures and so many projects in Kensarewa Polytechnic that was actually given by the Church Fund. So we may not say much on that because the government is still doing their best.
All right. What about monies generated internally by the polytechnics? How are these money utilized? Are there any questions around what the management of the schools or the school boards do with these funds and how they use them? Because the reports we get about some polytechnics is not very soothing, especially with regards to infrastructure, classrooms, hostels, and so on and so forth.
I will not be able to talk generally on that. And even as it relates to my school, I am not in the best position to directly state out the issues of how the money is being used because I don't have a